Well, everyone, the iPhone 12 Pro is one of those types of iPhones that came out a couple of years ago, and it still is a very decent device. There's been a couple of updates and a couple of changes that have happened within this device, and I would still say that this is a very, very interesting phone. There's been a couple of changes throughout this year, so I want to go and hit on some of the main changes, advantages, disadvantages about this device so far. The exterior of this phone, though, still holds up quite well. It still is giving you a pretty large 6.1-inch display. It's 60 Hz though, it is kind of a problem there, I'm not going to lie, but it's not really that bad of a device, and I think it still holds up fairly well when it comes down to it. Now, with these types of phones, the thing I really do like about them is that they're still supported with software. iOS 26.1 has just officially came out, and with a device like this, you're still going to be able to get a pretty solid type of experience for the most part. It's really not going to be, you're not going to be really missing out on too much there when it comes down to that side, because these types of phones still give you really good type of capability. So I really want that to kind of, to be remembered, because that is a really good, nice thing for this type of phone. Now, when it comes down to its price tag right now, this phone is probably at the end of this year, it's probably going to be around $200 something. So if you're wanting a phone that's already a couple years old, the 12 Pro is going to be one of those phones that's probably going to be roughly around like that $250 to $300 price range, depending on the condition, depending on how much storage is inside of it. So for at least the basic models that I can kind of think of, that's kind of what I'd expect to pay. So nothing super crazy, but roughly around that type of price tag when it comes down to it. So kind of keep that in mind. Now, when it comes down to basically the battery life inside of this phone, it's really not going to be that great. From the testing that I've done between my iPhone 17s and my, these ones, that's kind of what I was seeing for the most part. So it's kind of like, that's essentially kind of what's going on here. And albeit it's not the biggest deal in the world, but that is kind of one of the biggest things to kind of keep in mind there as well. So, the battery life is not going to be that great. It's not going to be it's probably going to be one of the worst aspects of this phone, to be honest. That and the 60 Hz panel, those two things are probably the worst things here, but it's not the biggest deal in the world. But those are just kind of those few things to keep in mind. But when we look at the iPhone, 15, that's not the 15, when we look at the iPhone 17s, and we see how these phones kind of compare, should you go and upgrade from an iPhone, 12 Pro to an iPhone 17? Well, I would say without a doubt, if you have all the money in the world, then definitely go through and buy one of those types of phones, right? Those types of phones are very, very good, the 17s, but if you want to go and pick up a phone that's probably going to give you a little bit of a cheaper price tag and still an upgrade, I think a phone like an iPhone 15 Pro could probably be a really good upgrade. That one might make a lot of sense to go and buy too, because it's not going to be that expensive and it still is going to be a really good type of experience when it comes down to it. So from that side, that kind of covers it up there. If you have any other thoughts or questions, please let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.